Congrats to Dustin and his team. They did a phenomenal job and, ultimately deserved to win that game. I thought for our guys that, 1 week removed from playing App, I thought we played together and I thought we shared the ball. I thought we looked more like a team on both sides, and we played with the toughness and the grit that's necessary to win, not just in this league, but to beat a good App State team. But I do think we left a lot to be desired in terms of our execution on both sides of the ball. And when you do that against the really good teams, playing hard, playing physical, playing together just isn't quite enough because those mistakes tend to mount. And we were on the losing side of that today. And so that's how small the margin is, and give them credit. When we made those mistakes, they absolutely capitalized on them. But certainly proud of our guys for being a better team and playing with more toughness, more grit than what we did a week ago, because that certainly gave us a great chance here today.
You talk about them being able to capitalize. They ended up shooting it okay, but they had multiple stretches, multiple droughts of 3-5 minutes that you guys just were able to ever really turn that into your own run. And you talk about the execution. What exactly do you need to execute better offensively other than just seeing the ball go in the basket?
There's a lot of things that lead to the ball going into the basket, right? You play against App. They're a tough physical team. You've got to really screen. You've got to hit bodies to get your teammates open. You've got to make sure that you're connected and you're running your offense fast and physical. And anything short of that, you're not going to generate good shots. And so I think we struggle to move on to the next play. We tell these guys all the time, the most important play in the game of basketball is the next play. It's a game of responses. And execution is not just on the offensive side of the ball. Execution is on the defensive side of the ball. The adjustments that we made defensively in our ball screen coverage, thought when we did them, we were really good. We hold them to 20 first half points. We did a really nice job, generated turnovers, kept them off the glass, and those were positives. For some reason, we started the second half, and we did something different. We came out and defended ball screens differently than what we had done for 20 minutes and what we had talked about. And that's hard to overcome. And when we talk about capitalizing on mistakes, that's exactly what that is. And you can overcome a few mistakes. You absolutely can, but you have to be committed to moving on to the next play. Sometimes when you generate good open shots, as I thought we did, we had a bunch of really nice inside-out threes. If they don't go in, you've got to really hone in defensively and say, that shot is over. I took the right shot for our team, and now it's time for me to make the next right play within the scheme of what we're doing defensively for our team. And that's kind of what we're missing right now.
Now, offensively throughout this game, a lot of stretches where kind of getting too late into the shot clock, having to force something up, players looking a little hesitant at times. Are players just still trying to figure out their roles sometimes in these half-court sets, or is it just kind of a game flow thing going on right now? What would you kind of chalk that up to?
We really struggle to talk to each other, right? We have this thing called relaying calls, right? So if I make a play call to you, you should tell everybody in the room what the play call is so that we can run it fast and physical. Sometimes we don't do that. And so then you get stagnant, you get hesitant, you don't set up and sprint your cuts, and you don't pop your feet on screens and, get a team chasing and be able to get a clean catch and see if the first option of what you're running is open or not. And then I thought we held the ball tonight. I thought we did a better job attacking in ball screens. And a lot of our throwback passes in the first half, we'd throw them back to a guy who could really shoot it, and he'd catch it, and he'd hold it. If he didn't shoot it, he'd hold it. Well, they're a very good defensive team, and they're good individual defenders for the guy who's closing out to them, and they're excellent gap defenders at getting back in and taking those away. So when you generate an advantage offensively, you have to capitalize on it. You can't paralyze your offense by holding it. We did better in the second half. I thought we did much better generating some closeouts. And we had our chances. I think we had 2 wide-open threes that we generated and maybe 1 or 2 layups, that would have put us right there in the thick of it. So that's not what got us beat. But I thought we did some better things for sure.
Yeah, and also with the perimeter shooting as well. I mean, you've seen games where this team can shoot lights out, and you've seen a lot of games throughout this year where it's just a struggle to be able to get over. For you as a coach, how do you try and approach that with the team? Because it's not just just start making more shots. It's kind of the mental aspect to it. How do you approach that?
Yeah, the mental side of it, I think we are a very good shooting team. Our passing has to complement it. That's what it comes down to. There's a lot of guys who can shoot. If you're not on a team that can really pass, and we can pass, we just have to be more willing passers. We have to be, really committed to saying, hey, we're going to make the easy play and the extra pass for one another. And when we do that, I think we can really, really shoot the ball, right? So it's not a matter of can we shoot. I don't think it's a mental thing at all. I think we got to really be more precise with our passing. And those are things that we can certainly control, and we've got to do a better job with, because shooting is a strength of ours. And we need to. It's not. I don't think it's a mental thing by any means.
The guys, when they come in here, pretty much every time, there's always a lot of talk about the roster turnover, how many new players are on the roster, and it takes.
They say that, or you guys ask them that?
They say. I mean, especially
okay.
Like that. It takes some time to kind of gel and get to know each other and everything. 18 games in, should it be better than what it is right now as far as the communication and everything you talked about?
Yeah, I don't know that I attribute any of it to that. I mean, by this time, we've been together since June. I don't know that we can. We say it all the time. Excuses are results, right? And that sounds like an excuse I'm not interested in hearing. You're not hearing that from me. I'm not going to say, hey, I got 12 new players, and I mean, you guys don't want to hear that, and so neither do I. We should be a team, 18 games or whatever it is that we're in right now, and we should be doing some things better together than what we are. And I'll take responsibility for that. I'm the head coach of the program. My job is to bring them together as a unit. I'm going to have to find a better way to reach these guys to get them to do that.
And maybe touching up with that as well. I mean, have you kind of had a sense maybe that maybe for this team, there's been a little extra added pressure onto them off the fact that, yeah, it's a new team, but you're coming in off of a last year team that made the round of 32, first time in 30 years, high expectations, you got a target on your back throughout conference plays. Maybe that been something as well?
It's always going to be a factor, right? As long as I'm coaching here, as long as anybody's wearing those jerseys, it's that's what the brand of JMU brings, and that just can't be too much for you. So I don't attribute too much to that. But it is understanding. I've said it before. We're going to get everybody's best shot. I think Appalachian State right now is the best team in our league. I haven't played everybody, but credit to them. I think they're very good. And so, I don't attribute much to that, because we're going to get the best version of every team. There's no doubt about it. And, each one of those guys in the recruiting process is what we told them. So, the pressure, I don't know. I don't attribute much to that, to be honest with you, because this is big boy basketball. Don't come to James Madison if you don't want to be, absolutely pushed to your limit each and every day to get prepared to play everybody, the best version of everybody in the league.
The guards are always going to probe, trying to get into the paint and what have you. What today did you want of both Freeman and of Brown against a team that you saw just last Saturday as well? Where were the areas that you wanted to attack, and what did work in that regard?
They did a better job. Going into our game last weekend, App State had played drop coverage in every single game except for one. And so what that allows you to do is get downhill with your guards. So they decided coming into that game, we're not going to allow your guards to get downhill and play. So now they have to become playmakers. Now you have to have exceptional spacing on the court, behind the ball and in front of the ball, to get them out of their gaps. At times we did a good job of that. I thought Mark, made some good plays in ball screens. He also made some plays that did not result in points, and it probably should have been a little bit easier play. But again, when you generate long closeouts, when you get two guys on the ball, when you create an advantage, those guys have to become play starters, and I thought they did a good job of that. I don't think we did a great job with our play finishers on the receiving end of those passes coming out of those ball screens.
Coach, you've already talked a little bit about just the ball screen issues, but a team shooting 10, 20 from three. And granted, outside of New York Connors, App State was 4 of 12 from three. But just like, can you talk a little bit more just about the struggles just defending the perimeter so far? I mean, it's only a third of the way through conference play, but can you just add a little bit more?
Yeah, I think it starts with, with Miles Tate for them, right? Keeping him out of the paint, and so that you're not having to overhelp off of some guys who can really shoot. Your ball screen coverage has got to be, really good because he's going to play in a ball screen every single possession. And again, I thought when we executed it, what death to ball screens is what we call it turn down, right? And that's when you're guarding the basketball and your teammate runs up and he tells you the screen is coming on your left, and you allow the guy to go to the right. You just can't overcome that. And Miles is a very good player, and he does a great job of being shifty and getting into the teeth of your defense. And then he's also able to make some tough shots and generate them for everybody else. So that's where it starts. And so we've got to do a better job guarding a guy like him with a little bit more discipline and keeping him out of the paint, because that's where he generates points for everybody else. Thanks, everybody.